Looking for the best opportunities in Perth property? Get the local area expertise you need from Momentum Wealth, WA's trusted property investment consultants. Market insights, advice and representation from award-winning buyers agents and REWA Hall of Fame inductees. Visit Momentum Wealth's website at momentumwealth.com.au to organise your obligation-free consultation today.
Welcome to the Smart Property Investment Show with your host, Phil Tarrant.
Hello everyone. Sorry it's not Phil Tarrant with you today. Welcome to an all-new episode of the Smart Property Investment Show though. It's Grace Ormsby here. And despite Phil not being in the office, that won't stop us from talking all things property. I'm with a young but clearly very capable investor today, Dylan Whalan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dylan, before we get started talking about your property experience, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm currently a third-year applied finance student at Macquarie University, and just throughout completing uni, I've been doing a casual job at a retirement village, just doing maintenance work. So at the end of this year, though, I'll finish and start a job with PwC down at Barangaroo, so I'm pretty keen to get started with that.
I bet, especially with COVID. I imagine you haven't really spent much time actually at the university, have you?
No, I haven't been on campus since February, yeah.
So you'd be pretty accustomed to Zoom chats then, which is how we're conducting today's interview. And doing finance, you've obviously got a little bit of an interest there in investment, full stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that what triggered this kind of interest to get into the property market, or was it earlier than that?
Probably doing finance has helped me understand where I should kind of put my money, invest my money, and give me a better understanding on what to actually do and what's smart. But yeah, it's probably only the last 12 months I've started thinking about property when I thought it could be a bit more achievable kind of thing. So before then, I didn't think that far ahead, but now I am.
I dare say that not a lot of 21-year-olds are on the property ladder, which you now are. So before we start talking about the actual property itself, you must have been saving for more than a year. Yeah,
so I've been in my casual job for almost 3 years now, and I've just been pretty diligent with my savings since I started, really.
So no big overseas trips then, I'm imagining, with that money?
No, I haven't, no.
One day?
One day I'll get there.
So Dylan, tell us about your purchase. You've done it during COVID-19. So, you know, there are a few people that are in the same situation that you are, but I would say not a lot of them would actually be students and then also working on the side and being able to pull that together to buy in Sydney.
So I have bought a one-bedroom flexi down at Norwest in the Orchids. So the builder's a Seksui house. So, that was about 3 months ago I made the call and decided to just jump in and did it.
So July, August?
Around then, yeah.
Yeah, which is when we didn't have any idea what the property market was going to do.
I had no idea, yeah.
How much did that set you back?
Cost of apartment?
Yeah.
Okay, a 680.
680,000.
So yeah, so it was a big jump, but the fact that it's not for another minimum 18 months, that gets me in front of that. So I've got plenty of time to focus on extra saving and setting myself up that kind of way. So that was a big decision influencer. So
have you put down a deposit then on that?
Yeah, so I've done the 10% deposit, but don't need to actually start financing it until I move in.
Okay, so that's the $68,000.
Yep.
Was that all from that job?
It was a little bit of help from Dad as well. So getting his support there really helped. But I'll be a bit of an IOU kind of thing and using the grants for the first home buyer grants be going straight into his pocket.
Yeah, definitely. Because that is only around for a limited time. So if you can get on board that kind of help, I think it's finishing in January.
Yeah.
So
that's why he told me to, if I think I can do it, which I can, then jump straight in and just do it.
Yeah. And had it been the plan from the beginning to have him supporting you like that? Or was it just a matter of the right place, the right time? This is a good idea. Let's just go in.
It was right timing would be the best way to put it, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break there, Dylan. But straight after that, I'm going to ask you what your strategy is going to look like going forward because you are so young. We'll be back shortly.
Whether you're an avid property investor or about to buy your first property, why do it alone when you could partner with Australia's best buyer's agent? Director of Pure Property Investment, Property Investment Professionals of Australia board member and REB Buyer's Agent of the Year, Paul Glossop, can take your portfolio to the next level. Get in touch today to discuss your investment goals. Get one-on-one insight from Paul Glossop. And for the first 100 people, this service is completely free. Head to purepropertyinvestment.com today to schedule your consult with Paul Glossop directly.
Hey everyone, welcome back to this episode of the Smart Property Investment Show, where I'm joined by 21-year-old finance student Dylan Whalan. And Dylan, you just told us about your purchase in Norwest. So it's pretty amazing that you got somewhere in Sydney at this age. Like, not many people can say that, you know. Are you one of the only people amongst your friends to be in that position?
Most of my mates are starting to think about it. I was the first one to make the plunge out of my schoolmates. I do have a mate that's a couple years older who has got an apartment at Gladesville, but apart from my mates my age now from school, no one's made the jump just yet.
Yeah, so then you have had to, using that first home buyer's grant, that means it becomes an owner-occupier, doesn't it?
Correct, yeah. So I have to live there minimum 6 months in order to be eligible for my grant, but my plan is to not move back home.
Yeah, so it's factoring into leaving home for good.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's 18 months away, right?
About 18 months, yeah.
Yeah.
The build started first week of September, so they started digging in that.
Well, that's pretty exciting.
It's very exciting. Go for a drive up there nearly every week to have a look.
So what then is your strategy going forward? You've obviously, I'm imagining you're still at home.
Yeah, still at home.
You've still got a little bit of time at home before you do leave.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that, what's your strategy going to look like? Because I'm imagining you haven't got on the property market now to just buy somewhere and that be that.
Yeah. No. So given, as I said previously, since it is the 18 months, that gives me that kind of head start. So within that period leading up until moving in, I'm going to try and set myself like a budget kind of thing, as if I have got a mortgage. So that way I can put extra savings aside and kind of build that up. So once I do move in, being able to furnish it and all that kind of stuff will be pretty easy to do.
And I bet it's a bit of a relief knowing that you're going straight into a grad role next year.
Oh, absolutely. Having that, I got that news just maybe a month or two before actually making this decision. And knowing that I'm going straight into full-time work next year was a huge influencer. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
For sure. So the bank obviously checked up on that to make sure you were you did have some form of employment and income? Yeah,
so as of 7th of December, so about a month from now, 4 weeks. And I'll be finished uni and working full time.
Awesome. Well, it all sounds really good. So then once you move in, what is your strategy? Will it be to stay there for 6 months and then get out and rent somewhere? Are you going to become a rent investor, or will it be is it going to be more of a long-term living situation? How are you approaching it at this point?
For me, I definitely don't want to move out of it straight away because I actually really like the design of the building and the layout and everything. And that was huge factors that helped me pick where I wanted. So I don't really plan on moving out after the 6 months. Probably maybe quite a few years down the track, move out, rent it and buy somewhere else, or stay in this and look for another investment property or something. So just kind of see where it takes me, I suppose.
For sure. And then I guess following on from that, what are your goals with your property journey?
That's an excellent question. Definitely get more investment properties in a way, like down the career path. So hopefully I can have a successful career with starting at PwC. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then slowly along the side, build a portfolio of stocks, which I've started. So having a bit of property and stocks, I see pretty important for me.
Do you see it as important to balance between those stocks and property? Are you trying to keep that diversification at play?
Definitely, especially after learning all about that through uni, diversifying your portfolio and all that stuff, it's very important to me. So making sure I hedge my bets kind of thing.
And then obviously, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, when you're at uni, you don't learn about property investment per se.
Yep.
It might be something, you might be learning a bit, but never are you actually going to be full-time learning about, how to actually put your money into bricks and mortar like that. Where then have you been seeking out your advice for this? Because it's not something that you want to go into blindsided or without talking to anyone about. Who have you leaned on in that regard?
Definitely my dad. He's always said, property is huge. It's one of the smartest decisions you can make. So that's probably where I got the big idea from. And then just learning little bits through uni kind of all contributes to me making that choice, I suppose.
And I guess when you do have that family influence, it's going to be something that plays on the back of your mind. So even before you were actively looking for that property, was it sort of something that you always thought, I just know that that's what I'm going to be doing?
Mum and dad have actually bought in the same apartment block as me, just a bit higher on the Gulf side view. So when they started looking, they bought about a year ago. I kind of had the thought that when I would move in with them in the new place, I'd want to start looking. So when they were looking at different places, I was, going on the tours and having a look and looking at the plans to try and educate myself in that way, to give myself, say, a head start for when I did start looking. And then it was only a matter of months ago when I started thinking about it again. And when I did get the news that I have a full-time job for next year, Dad said, we'll start looking now. So I, having done the prior research, it made it pretty simple for me. So I went straight down to Orchids at Norwest, to the sales office, and sat down with Carlo and tried to get an idea of what was left, and then walked away with placing that holding deposit and, starting that journey.
A family tick approval is a pretty good one, especially if they're going to be living in the same place as you, definitely. Which is that as far away from them as you would have liked to have been?
I'm sure there'll be lots of people out there that say, you're not properly moving out or blah, 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 that kind of stuff. But to me, I keep telling Mum, treat it as if I'm in a different suburb, because that was a place I really love the area. I love my hills bubble, I suppose you could call it. And then working down in the city, I'm right next to the Norwest Metro. So that's huge for me, being able to just quickly get on that and go straight to the city. So, yeah.
And a lot of people would say that Norwest line, is great for property values in the area. Yeah. Have you thought about how it's going to, change the price you're paying $680 now? Yep. Have you sort of thought about what that price might look like down the track?
For me, I probably reckon it'll definitely influence it, especially once that metro, if they do go ahead and pursue it straight from through Chatswood into the city rather than having to change trains. It'll be quite the selling point, I suppose you could say, for a lot of people in the future. But I just think it's a great area to be in. Like, you've got schools around, you've got supermarkets, you've got all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just a great area. Yeah.
Hills advocate. If you're in your bubble and you love it, you might as well stay.
I've grown up here, so yeah, it does help.
We're going to take another break there, but we'll be back very soon.
Are low interest rates impacting on your investment returns? It's time to rethink. Rethink Investing creates wealth for clients through the strategic purchase of positively geared, high cash flow commercial property. Industrial properties, retail assets, or office spaces can be a smart investment option that produces significant and long-term return on investment. Rethink your investment options and look to commercial property. Learn more at rethinkinvesting.com.au. Rethink Investing, Australia's #1 commercial buyers agency.
We're back with Dylan Whalan, a 21-year-old from the Hills who has just purchased his first property. Dylan, you talk about loving the Hills, and, it's obviously a great place during COVID-19 where there's a bit more space, and I think a lot of people have been talking that, moving away from the cities in search of that lifestyle. So did COVID-19, obviously having a job helped, but did that springboard you from looking, okay, maybe I'll purchase somewhere 4 or 5 years down the track, to going, well, this is what's available now, let's just go for it?
Yeah, definitely. So actually being able to start looking and get ideas of where I wanted to go. I didn't want to go too close to the city because I feel like it gets very crowded easily. All the apartment blocks are so close together, you feel like you're on top of each other. Whereas out here, I feel like it's a little bit more spacious. Yes, it's becoming more development and that kind of thing, but I still think it's like really well laid out, I suppose.
And some people, I feel like I do need to bring it up, some people are worried about those new constructions and how well they're going to hold up in the future. Is that something that you've thought about or looked into?
Yeah, definitely. Even just when, as I said earlier, late last year when Mum and Dad started looking, and, I went into a couple of apartments looking at the way they're finished and all that kind of thing. Some of them look dodgy, not, amazing kind of thing. And then going into the Orchids, the Imperial, which is the current one built, and Air will be built next door to it. I just walked in and I was like, wow, everything was done so much better, of a higher quality, the way they talked about it. And then looking into Sekisui House, to me, it was heads and shoulders above, their competitors and that kind of thing. So, and then being told that Air will be their upper market kind of designing, that was another big influencer as to why I did choose there as well.
Well, it sounds like you've made a good choice.
I'm very happy with my choice.
That's awesome. So obviously, you condensed this whole process into 3 months. What have you learnt over that time period from, buying your own place? I guess even just, we're in the middle of a downturn. So I'm sure you've got the finance backing from your uni degree, but it's never going to be the same as when you're actually going through the motions and living your life yourself. So what have those big lessons been for you?
One of the biggest ones would be not to procrastinate, even just with there's clearly so much demand for apartments, because as soon as I had gone down and had a look and chat with what was available, there was 1 bedroom flexi and then 4 1-bedrooms. And then I made the call on the 1-bedroom flexi, and a couple of days later I went down and all of them were then sold. So I kind of got in perfectly timed. So yeah, it was just don't procrastinate on the choice. Like, if you want to do it and you can be happy with it, I walked out of the room not regretting my decision at all. So making sure I wanted what I got, kind of thing.
Because then that brings me to my next question, which is there any mistakes or regrets from the past year that you've had about property, or even just, the ways you've gone about applying? Obviously, not procrastinating is really, really important. But is there anything that you've gone, maybe that wasn't the best choice?
That's a great question. I can't really think of anything that I've regretted, because with property or investments or anything, I've been pretty happy with my choices in that sense. Nothing I can really see as a negative, because for me, it's looking towards my future and I don't want to regret that kind of decision. So, yeah. Well,
that's a great position to be in then. How has it shaped what you will do with property down the track then? We've talked a little bit about, long-term, what your goals are and stuff, but further to that, like how has this process shaped the way that you see living in your own place?
It's definitely made it very exciting to finally be, properly independent and, rely on myself for things, finally grow up, I suppose people would say. But no, making all these decisions now is maybe pretty excited, happy, full of those kinds of emotions to actually get out there and make these kind of big decisions for myself and progress, not just my work career, but my investment choices and, that kind of thing. So I'm really looking forward to it, yeah.
I think there'll be a few 21-year-olds listening to this going, oh, I'm not quite there, or should I do something like this as well? What's something that you sort of do say? Do you have any friends that are now coming to you for advice, or, is there anything that you think that other 21-year-olds should be aware of or would want to know about actually jumping on the property ladder? Because it's something that we sort of think people push back until later on when they've got, they've got full-time jobs already, or they're in a position where they need to buy something. But that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, so biggest thing at the moment would be make the most of those first home buyers grants and the stamp duty cleared for, first home buyers. That's, for me, I've saved up to $50,000 right there. So that is enormous amounts right now. So if I waited, I'd, be spending more money kind of thing. So making the call now has really helped. So being diligent with savings up until this point, investing a little bit in the stock market kind of thing, getting on that early has really helped me and made the decision easier.
Sounds like you've got a very cool head and you've been very measured about the whole thing, Dylan. So congratulations on the purchase. You'll have to keep in touch with us as you go along when you move in.
Absolutely.
Send us some pictures and keep us up to date with what you're doing as well, because I feel like this, being so young, you've got so much time to achieve great things in property.
A lot of time, yeah.
So best of luck.
Thank you so much.
To everyone at home, if you enjoyed this show, please leave a review on whatever platform you're using to listen in, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you're staying up to date with us on our socials and at our website, smartpropertyinvestment.com.au. And if you do have any questions for us at Smart Property Investment, don't hesitate to reach out. Send us an email at editor@smartpropertyinvestment.com.au. Until next time, stay safe and well. Bye-bye.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you. Guests appearing on this podcast may have a commercial relationship with the companies mentioned.
Are you in the real estate industry? We're on the lookout for Australia's best agents, networks and property managers to enter the REB Awards 2021 with principal partner List Ready. The awards provide an invaluable opportunity to showcase your contribution to the industry, raise your profile on the national stage and celebrate your achievements with your peers. Nominations close in November. Start your nomination now at realestatebusinessawards.com.au/REB-awards.